Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, click on the bell icon down below so you can get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live on YouTube around 4 p.m. Central Time, or outside of YouTube, you can consider joining the Discord that we created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. I get asked a lot, what are the foods I'm eating to help me lose weight? And that Pinterest board is a great place to find the meals and recipes that I've been enjoying or that our family's been enjoying. Today is day 831 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose 245 pounds. If anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you're struggling with your diet, let us know what's happening or what's causing your struggles. Maybe we can help you out. If you're succeeding with your diet, let everybody know what you're doing to succeed. Share your knowledge with everybody. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are going to do to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the big screen here. I hope everybody had a great evening last night. We ended up, let me think if I did anything fun, not usually doing anything fun at home. We just kind of hung out and just did the parenting thing for the evening. I don't have my phone on me right now. Let me go grab that. I will be right back. It's just on the other side here. All right, and I'm back. Hello, Christy and Carrie checking in. Hello, Our Tiny Acres, Plants Only Muncher, Barb. Hello, everybody. Let's see here. I'm gonna go over the food that I have eaten in the past 24 hours. I usually have this set up beforehand, so let's see what we got. That's yesterday. Let me see. Here we go. All right. So yesterday we had one of our staples one of the few meals that we have been eating since we started eating this way. And last night we had our mega veggie chili. That is, like I said, one of the meals that we have been eating since the beginning or since we started eating this way. And it is absolutely one of my favorite meals that we have. It's got amazing flavors to it. We put a little bit of chipotle pepper seasoning on the top there. Let me just show all kinds of stuff there. So I ended up, because I don't normally do it, but or take photos of both bowls, but I had 2 bowls of this last night. And so I actually took a picture of both the bowls here, but there was a lot more juice in the second bowl than there was the first bowl. So that was dinner last night. I really didn't have much else other than mega veggie chili last night. I had the 2 bowls of that, and then I think I had a couple oranges and apple, some fruit, that we have around. But we didn't end up doing any dessert last night. Something that we've been doing a lot since with the Chef AJ reboot is we've been having the cobbler a lot because it's pretty easy to make with just some oats and bananas and then some frozen fruits. But last night we didn't end up having any dessert after dinner. Then today for my breakfast, I guess, I ended up Our Tiny Acres here says that they've been on a citrus and pineapple kick this last week. Yeah, I've had a lot of pineapple in the past month. I feel like one of the things that we ended up getting, I guess it would have been around Christmas time, was the Ninja Creamy. And so we've been making like ice creams out of things. And one of my favorite, or actually really the one that I definitely like the most of the different flavors that I've tried, is just taking a can of pineapple and putting it in and freezing it and then blending it in the creamy. So I feel like I've had a ton of pineapple here in the past few weeks or past month as well. Christy here says you love the Sumo oranges and they are in season right now. We'll have to check that out. I know I've been enjoying the oranges that we picked up the last few times. They have a different label on them than the old ones do. Our Tiny Acre says you do that with your creamy too. Yeah, it's really good. And it's, so we got the creamy, and it's the directions are to freeze everything for 24 hours. And with the pineapple, there was a few weeks back, Carrie had put pineapple in the freezer, but it was only froze. It would only been in the freezer for like 6 or 7 hours. So it wasn't as frozen as they want it to be, I guess. But I really liked it that way. I almost liked it more not being like frozen brick. When I mixed it, it just gives it a little bit softer texture, and the flavor's the same. I mean, it's just pineapple, so it doesn't really affect the flavor a whole lot, and it makes it a little bit easier to eat as well. And Our Tiny Acre says the Cara oranges are your favorite. Really, with the oranges, I've just been sticking to the ones that are the easiest to peel, like the little small tangerines or whatever I'm not even sure what type of orange they are, but just the ones that are tiny and the skin comes off real easy, and they generally don't have seeds in them, are what we eat. So today for food, I ended up, this is the first time I've had the steamed broccoli and cauliflower mix. Generally, I just eat the steamed the steamed broccoli. I don't usually have the steamed cauliflower, but we had a bunch of bags of the mix here. So I ended up having that today before I ate my oatmeal. And I threw some of the Table Tasty on top of it because we don't have any more of the California balsamics, or we don't have any right now. I really enjoyed it just with the Table Tasty on there. I probably could have put more of the Table Tasty on it to give it more flavor, but it just it was really good. So Our Tiny Acres says that you can taste the bleach they clean those little ones off with. That's an interesting... like when I eat some of those oranges, occasionally I've made a comment to Carrie where it's had a little bit of a different flavor to it, or a different taste. It's not always like a chemical taste, or it's not often a chemical taste. Sometimes I feel like I can taste the water that they use to grow the oranges. I feel like it has like that like garden hose kind of water taste to it sometimes. But yeah, so the breakfast today, cauliflower broccoli. Before we had our oatmeal here. Very blurry picture of my oatmeal, but that was oatmeal today. And then that's really all I've had. I had a potato. I think there's potatoes in the Instapot. I just haven't gone and eaten a bunch of them. I had a couple of them earlier today, but that's really been the food in the past 24 hours. Nothing too fancy or too special there, but again, that Mega Veggie chili is something that it's something where if you're changing to this way of eating, it takes time to adjust to the flavors. And the Mega Veggie chili, like I said, is one of those foods that we've been eating since the beginning. And when we first had it, I was not a huge fan of it. But after a few weeks, my taste buds started to adjust and I really started to enjoy Mega Veggie Chili. Also, I think that we probably, another thing with the changing to this way of eating is it takes time to learn how to cook new recipes and cook different ways. And many of the recipes that you're going to come across, down in the Pinterest board in the description, you check out those recipes, they're going to be designed to try to, appeal to the most people possible. Or they might be more geared towards the creator of the recipe's taste preference than your taste preference. So I recommend that any of these recipes, that if you try them and you find that there's something lacking or there's something in it you don't like, go ahead and play with the recipe, add jalapeno to it or remove it from it if you don't want it. Don't just take the recipe as, gospel, and take the time to modify it to your personal preferences, because if you do that, then you're more likely to eat it in the future. If it's not a food that you're find enjoyable, then you're less likely to find a reason to make it. So definitely take the time to play with the recipes and create better, versions of these meals for yourself. Plants Only Munchers here says, what do you do with the Kirkland no salt seasoning? Do you just sprinkle it on your veggies or use it in cooking? So the Kirkland's no salt, generally we put on top of the food. And so like the oatmeal we have in the morning, we'll put it on top of that oatmeal and then mix it into it here. That is generally how we use it, as like a flavoring or a seasoning that we put on there. And so the one we've been using now is the Table Tasty. It's got a lot more like nutritional yeast in it, and so it has that kind of flavor versus the I don't even know what the flavor of the Kirkland's no salt would really be considered, but I definitely like the Kirkland's no salt seasoning. Our Tiny Acres here says that you love adding more spice to them. Dr. McDougall said they changed their recipes to less spicy than he eats because a lot of people told him it was too spicy. Exactly. These recipes are designed for the masses. The recipes that are in his books aren't even necessarily the recipes that he eats at home, because he knows that people don't want it to be too spicy, or they don't want that. And it might be too spicy at first. Some of these ingredients I didn't like when I started eating this way. One that comes to mind is celery. Was a food that I didn't enjoy at all before I started eating this way. And now I really appreciate celery in the food and the flavor that it gives the food. But it took time for those taste buds to adapt. So right now you may not like super spicy food, but as you allow your taste buds to adjust, you may find that there is a certain spice that you do enjoy more of than you thought. And so that would be something to really, look at these recipes and build them for your own preferences. The topic here today I was going to talk about here is rebooting your diet and your lifestyle. I was talking with Carrie the other day, and just kind of about how I did things, and about, is how I did things, sort of like some people, some food's too spicy for some people. Well, fasting for a long time is too much for some people, and I understand, and that's not something that you have to do to lose weight. But I think what you have to do is you have to do a reboot. You have to reset your taste buds, your preferences, your mindset about dieting, and you have to kind of do a hard reset. You know, if you're using a computer and it's not working well and there's an issue going on, it's laggy or it's not loading things as fast as you want, the first thing that we do is reset the computer. And a lot of times all you got to do is turn it off and back on again, and it fixes the problem. And I think I did that with my diet. That's what kind of I was able to do with this challenge. Was I started off with this hard reset. I took all of the food that I used to eat and I rebooted the system, and I said, all right, we're going to reboot and we're going to completely do something different after the rebooting of the diet. And I think we are so afraid to do that reboot because of the unknown. You know, even though you may not be happy or you may not be as healthy as you want to be, you're still alive. And that is an amazing feat in this, in the universe. And so your body's natural tendency is to try not to do anything to rock the boat, because it's amazing that you're here and that you've made it this long. And you must have been able to be here and make it this long because of the choices that you made. And so you continue to hold on to those previous notions of weight loss and diet and just how you should live your life, when in reality, you would benefit from a complete reset, a complete reboot of your diet and your lifestyle. And that was what I was able to do with my water fast. Now, like I said, you don't have to water fast to find the benefits of doing a reboot. I think that you can do a lot of different things to reset your taste buds, but the fastest way is going to be by fasting and seeing how long you can fast. But you can also reset your taste buds by doing some mono dieting or trying to really simplify your diet and then start to expand it over time. And that's something that we did. It wasn't necessarily intentional, but it is what happened because we didn't know how to eat a lot of these foods or cook these foods or prepare these meals. And so when I first switched over to this way of eating, there were lots of meals that I ate that was just taking a can of corn, putting it in a bowl and heating it up, just so I could have food that was, you know, to give me the energy, but also to make sure that the food was low calorie dense, didn't have a bunch of added, didn't have any added salt, oil, or sugar. And then over time, we start making it a little bit more complicated. Or once we start figuring out how to do these more complicated meals or things, we can start removing the simple items from our diet. Our Tiny Acres here says that you've been making yourself eat more veggies. Yes, that's a big thing too with the rebooting the way you think about dieting and lifestyle as well. Because I was talking to somebody about my weight loss the other day, and I just said that I had lost a huge amount of weight. I was like, well, I was 520 pounds. Now I'm 275 pounds. I've lost 240 pounds. And the first thing they asked me is, did you find it hard to eat less food? Did you find it hard to eat fewer calories? And I had to kind of shake that mentality from them, or kind of be like, I didn't. I eat a ton of food right now. I eat an incredible amount of food, but because I focus on calorie density, I'm able to eat this food and not worry about having, 10,000 calories in a day. I can eat huge abundant amount of food, an abundant amount of food, and still not be eating anywhere near the calories I used to eat when I was eating an abundant amount of food. So I kind of had to let them know, I was like, it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to fall for the myths of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption, the myth of moderate change. It's something where you can consume a large amount of food. You can be satisfied with the volume of food. You just have to change the food that you're eating. And by doing a reboot, by doing a short mono diet, or, going through that week or 2 week long phase where it's going to be difficult, the effort of getting through that period of time is worth it on the back end, because it becomes easier and easier. And so it was just it's frustrating that I don't even have to say anything, but people automatically assume that the only way you can lose weight is this calories in, calories out. This idea that you can eat whatever you want as long as you don't eat over X number of calories a day. And it's just bad practice when you're trying to lose a large amount of weight. Because with me, I could have done calories in, calories out. I could have done a low carbohydrate diet after I fasted, but there's no longevity to it. There's no sustainability to it. There's not, and so I see videos of people that eat different than me, completely different than me. The carnivore, keto, low carb diet. And one of the things I feel like there's a struggle that it appears like they're constantly going through. And that might even be why they do so much better on a platform, like social media platforms, is because there's so much struggle and people want to see you struggle. Like, it's just part of our nature that, that they want to see people struggle. And I think that it helps also reinforce that it's not your fault if you see somebody else struggle. So every time one of these keto influencers falls off the wagon, it actually promotes them more. It helps them out because people want to see you fail. They want to see that struggle. Maybe they don't want to see you fail, but they want you to be showing that struggle, overcoming that adversity. And eating a low carb diet will cause constant struggle after a few months. You can do it for a short period of time, but you cannot do it for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. Where are the masses of people that have been eating keto since keto's become popular and have kept the weight off and talk about it being easy? Like, that's the thing, is that they take the weight off, but keeping it off is not easy for them. And for me, I've been able to lose this weight, and I really feel like it's been easy. I almost feel like it's been almost too easy. Like, it's scary that it's been this easy, because I was so scared going in, like I was so worried about how difficult it was going to be to lose this weight and how hard it was going to be to keep it off after I lost it. And right now I'm sitting here looking back at the last 831 days, and I can't, like there's some mental struggle, like in that I have to choose not to eat the high dopamine response food, but I have something to eat. It's not choosing between a high dopamine response food and nothing. It's choosing between a high processed food and an actual whole natural food. Like, a lot of times I feel like people that are on these calorie in, calorie out diets, they get to the end of the day and they ran out of calories. And then they're like, I can't eat anymore. I got to go to bed so I can eat again tomorrow. And for me, I'm like, well, shoot, I'm hungry. I'm going to go grab an apple. I'm going to go grab a banana. I'm going to go grab something to eat. I'll cook a bag of broccoli, like, um, there's no top end. There's no roof to it. And so I'm not worried about hitting that ceiling with my diet. I don't worry about the calorie count. And that makes this diet easier because I don't worry about the calorie count. What also makes this diet easier is I don't exercise a bunch to lose weight. I haven't exercised hardly at all. Like back in 2001, I got into a kick to do exercise and I trained and I did a sprint triathlon. And then 4 days later, I injured myself. And that was really the last time I went to the gym other than to rehab my specific muscle that I damaged. I never went to the gym to do half-hour cardio runs. I don't go running or biking. I don't do extra activity to try to help that calories in, calorie out equation that everybody lives off of. I have a 2,000 calorie limit for the day, but if I work out for 300 calories, then I can eat another 300 calories. Like they're doing all this hard physical work just so they can eat a few more calories, when if they were focused on better nutrition and a better calorie dense diet, they wouldn't have to worry about it so much. Rebecca here says you made your first purchase today from California Balsamic. Thanks to friends from this community. That's awesome. Let us know how you like it here. Pretty Girl's mom here says that she's probably going to get the bundle that Chef AJ has going out right now. They especially want the Nutmeg Notebook batch cooking course. Yes, batch cooking will really help a lot with this way of eating too. It allows you to have something available. One of the questions I always ask at the beginning of my streams is, what are you going to do to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Well, taking the time to do batch cooking is one of those things that you can do that will help make staying on your diet easier than the alternative, because when you batch cook, you have meals in your fridge. You have meals ready to go. So when you get hungry, you can just go to the fridge, prepare that meal or get that ready to go. Where if you don't have that in the fridge and you get hungry, then you have to then fight that temptation to eat something that maybe you have around the house still. Or if you're having to go out to get something to eat, why not just get something that you really want, right? And so that's a big thing about batch cooking, I think, is great. The thing I love about a lot of the batch cooking too is that many of these recipes, like the soups and even the Spanish rice and beans that we have, they're great when we make them and we eat them. But if they sit in the fridge for a day or a day and a half or something before we eat the leftovers, a lot of times I enjoy the leftovers as much or more than the original meal, because those flavors really had a chance to like mix and bind together and really improves the flavor. So that's a nice thing about batch cooking too, is that you have these foods that they are then able to sit for a little bit of time to really make them kind of marinate together, I guess, or I don't know what a better word. Carrie says that the bundle is tempting. Yeah, I think it's really not that expensive for a ton of different products from people. And I had actually, Chef AJ has been doing a lot of live videos and doing a lot of promoting of the bundle this week. So I've actually watched more Chef AJ videos than I usually do, because it seems like she's always live talking to somebody. Plants Only Muncher says they're buying the bundle for the Giroudi family. You really like Brittany Giroudi. Yeah, I have not seen much of her stuff like on YouTube. I don't know. I thought I followed her on YouTube, but I'd have to look it up. but yeah, they have been doing this for a long time. Christy here says you got the bundle as well. It's everybody's grabbing that bundle. It's I feel like we bought a previous bundle and it's so much information that you get with it. It's almost too much. I think I heard her the other day saying that the nice thing about it is that you're able to access the information for a year and then you're able to download it all too. So you can download it. In fact, there's a guy that I have known about. I don't think he had a book, but Tim Kaufman, he's one of the guys that is in the bundle package that Chef AJ is releasing here. And his interview with Chef AJ, he kind of went over some of the technology or the ways of saving the data and actually kind of a neat setup there. Pretty Girl's mom says you love Tammy Kramer's recipes. And Carrie here says, she said you just go in and kind of shop for what appeals to you, and that makes it seem less overwhelming on the bundle. Yeah, it's only $50 for the bundle too. And it's not actually a shop, you own it all. But yeah, it seems like a good deal or a good setup to that bundle that they're doing. And she's really promoting it here. And then in a couple weeks, Chef AJ has the Truth About Weight Loss Summit. And I actually have an interview on the summit about my weight loss. So if you guys haven't signed up for that summit, make sure you do get signed up for it because you'll be able to access the videos the day of. I think I am on the 4th day, the 21st is when my interview is on there. And so, yeah, definitely check out that truth, the real truth about weight loss or the Truth About Weight Loss Summit that she's doing. Pretty Girl's mom here said that the last year's bundle did seem overwhelming. In fact, I wonder if I have the file on my computer somewhere that, I don't know. Let me see. I thought I downloaded a bunch of stuff, but I'm not sure. It might not have been there. But Pretty Girl's mom says, now you know how to manage it now since it was so overwhelming last year. Well, that's good. Yeah. And like I said, if you are concerned about it, check out that Chef AJ interview with Tim Kaufman because he does kind of talk about putting them in files and separating them and kind of a good process of how to go through them and kind of know what you've gone through and not. And so that's a good thing for that. So we got kind of talking about the bundle here. And so yeah, I didn't have a whole lot more about the rebooting your diet, just that you'll be amazed at what can happen if you do it. Like and many of you guys here, you already eat very close to this way, or you eat a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. But, for somebody who's coming from the standard American diet or the Western diet or the modern diet or whatever you want to call it, it can be really scary to even consider eating this way. And it's hard to get past, like like going in for me, I feel like maybe I was able to be so on board because I was fasting, like I was so far away. I was probably fasted for 20 or so days before I even really knew or heard about eating a plant-based diet or eating this way for weight loss. And so I was already kind of rebooted. I was so far away from the old diet that this seemed possible. Whereas before I started this way, it just seems crazy. Like that person I was talking to, they had to, when I say I eat a plant-based diet, and they're like, well, do you eat meat? I was like, no, I don't have any meat. Like, nothing? You don't eat chicken? You don't eat pork? You don't eat beef? Like, I have to go through all of them. No chicken, no pork, no beef, no dairy, no cheese, no ice cream, all that stuff, and to that person, it probably seems crazy, and I can understand, because I would have thought it was a bit wild or extreme too. But now that I'm eating this way and I see all the advantages to eating this way, it's not near as extreme to me. When that was a big thing that kept me from getting into doing my next diet, was that I don't want to have to struggle against that moderation, trying to eat less food, like it's easier to just not give up than to have to fight your cravings to eat more food. And so I wouldn't even give it a shot. Our Tiny Acre says, your husband, who you haven't gotten to go fully plant-based yet, actually pulled a bag of your Brussels sprouts out and warmed them up and ate them with a mix of mustard and ketchup. And you enjoy seeing that. That is awesome. Just getting more non-starchy vegetables into your diet is going to help bring your weight down. It's going to help improve your life, because even though those foods are really low in calories, they do have a lot of nutrients in them. And that's something that the Dr. Fuhrman's book really talks a lot about, is that these foods that, before I started this diet, I thought of foods like kale and celery and spinach as like wasted space in my stomach. It's wasted food because there's no calories to it. We give so much weight to calories being the what we need. And we do need calories, but we also need nutrients. And when you can eat foods that are low calorie but are high in nutrients, that is really gonna also help with your life, and it's going to help your body. Your body is going to respond well from eating more vegetables, eating more non-starchy vegetables. It's going to help bring down the overall calorie density of your diet, and you're going to see benefits from that. And so that's great that he's been, that he pulled them out and had some Brussels sprouts. So that's awesome. So yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to escape the pleasure trap. It's hard to get away from those foods. And I guess, like I was saying with previously, I know I avoided dieting so much because I didn't want to have to struggle. I avoided the struggle. Like, that's why I avoided dieting a lot in the past 7 years, because I lost a ton of weight in 2013 by taking a prescription, but I struggled a lot, like the prescription itself helped to curb my appetite, and the weight loss kept me motivated. But as soon as I was unable to continue with that medicine, the diet became impossible for me to continue. And then I had this failure, and that failure, that struggle was months long. Like, it was a very long period of time where, like, the losing the weight didn't seem that difficult because I was taking the appetite suppressant. And then once I had to do it on my own, it was impossible. And I'm comparing myself to the previous version of myself that was succeeding on the diet without really considering the medication and the impact the medication was having. Even though I was taking the medication, I think I took it for 9 months or 8 or 9 months. I took it as long as they were able to prescribe it to me. And just having to go through that struggle of thinking I had it and then realizing that I didn't. And then also, like, as you're gaining the weight back, and then I'm, in my head, I'm like, I need to get a hold of this, but I didn't want to go back to the doctor because it'd been 6 months since I'd seen him and I gained 50 pounds back, and it was, and so then it's like, well, I can do it on my own. And then I never got going. And I think that the fear of the struggle kept me from even trying something new. And you have to get over that fear. You have to be willing. So many times I said I'd do anything. I've tried everything. And, up until I started this way of eating, I was not, I had not really given it a consideration. I had somebody ask me right before I started this, have you thought about eating a vegan diet? Because they had a lot of success with, I think, is it Ray Cronice or like the potato dieting? So they kind of suggested that I try eating, that type of diet, and I dismissed it. I was like, I'm not going to give up meat. I'll eat better cuts of meat. I'll eat higher quality cuts of meat instead, and then, it just took reading The Pleasure Trap, watching some videos and Dr. Fuhrman's book to really kind of convince me that I at least needed to give it a shot for myself. Like, once I learned that it existed, I could no longer say I've tried everything, because I knew that eating a whole food plant-based diet now existed. Because I always kind of thought anybody that ate this way was eating this way as like a fad or like a short-term thing. I didn't think that it was a lifestyle. It was a way of eating that you could do the rest of your life. And I'm realizing that I was completely wrong. Of all of the diets that I've tried in my life, this one is the only one that is actually a lifestyle, and that you can do the rest of your life. I don't believe that we're going to see a lot of people that are going to be saying, I've been strict keto for 20 years and it's been easy. I think that there's, it's going to be one of those things that I think that it's going to take time, but eventually it's going to start to snowball. Eating this way is going to start becoming more and more popular as more and more people are doing it and are getting out, and they're letting people know that they're doing it and how long they've been doing it. You look at the doctors like Dr. Goldhamer. I don't know how long he's been SOS free. I know he's eaten a plant-based diet for a long time. I don't know if it was SOS free since the beginning, but I would bet that he's eaten that way for 20 years. And Dr. Lisle eats very similar, eats the same way. Chef AJ has been eating this way for years now. There's lots of people that, and maybe not just SOS free, but eating plant-based, that they're eating a plant-based diet. So they've removed all animal products and they're thriving, versus somebody who's done the opposite and eats only animal products and has gotten rid of all plant-based. I don't know that there's guys out there that are making it this way 10, 15, or really even 5 years and being 100% compliant. Like, that's the other part of it. Like, you could eat, you might be able, if you eat a keto diet and then you have a cheat meal once a week, then is that truly a lifestyle? You know, like that's something too, is that I don't have any desire for cheat meals. And a big part of that, I believe, is the volume that I eat. It helps me stay satisfied so I don't get as many cravings. Whereas before, when I did these low calorie diets, I was constantly craving food because I was always hungry. So that's something about this diet that I don't fight cravings all the time. I'm not constantly hungry because I eat a lot of food when I eat. And so it's really surprising. It has been surprising to me. Like I don't know what I expected going in, you know, like it was something that I hoped for the best. But I don't know, you know, I can what if things all day long, but I would say that there's very, very few diets that I could have chosen where I would be at day 831 still talking about how awesome the diet is. So, but anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I rambled for a bit today. I hope you guys enjoyed the ramble. But I got to do some running here, and today's Thursday. I plan to go live tomorrow, but Fridays never go as planned. So I may or may not be live tomorrow. I do hope to go live, but if I don't, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you guys so much for the support and participating here in the conversation. It really helps me. You guys coming on here, showing the support. You know, I put videos out, you know, my weigh-in video yesterday, lots of wonderful comments. I put a YouTube short out today. If you have a chance to go check out the YouTube short, it's just a little thing I put out, just trying to create some more content. Oh, I got to pick up my kids tomorrow after work too. So we'll see how the day goes. Maybe I'll be able to go live earlier than I normally do. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Or I may just have to pick up my kids and I'll see you guys Monday. But just know that I'm going to be on my diet. I'm going to stick to the diet, and I'll be giving you an update on it when I come back. So, but I'm out of here, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you haven't clicked on the bell icon to get alerted when I go live and post new videos, make sure you do that. If you have not liked this video, comment down below, what do you need to reboot in your life? And last but not least, if you have not started your diet yet, get started now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. There's nothing coming up this weekend. There's nothing coming up next week. There's nobody gets to their goals and looks back and says they wish they would have waited. You know, everybody looks back and says that they wish they would have started sooner. So get started right now. I will talk to you guys later.